places, oh, I feel cold. I need more cold. That's fine. When I was moving from Bosnia to US, my older brother was in Washington, D.C. But they say he had the same climate like Sarajevo. Winters are cold and stuff. I said, no, I'm going south. So I picked up the biggest city in the south, Houston. It's warm and nice. I like it. And this magnet is giving the same thing. Well, anyway, Valerie, you want to say something?
So, well, then I'll start from the pyramid. Actually, and according to the knowledge which I have received for the last 30 years of investigation of the pyramids all over the world, this pyramid here is the oldest one of the oldest pyramids on our planet Earth. And such types of pyramids will be found later on other planets too, because they played a very important role. They are GPS marker from the beginning. So, what's the idea of a GPS marker? It means that those extraterrestrial civilizations which are on the higher level, and my friends investigators know very clear that all ancient text says there was a time on planet Earth when we have been visited by very high developed living civilizations, and they have giving us the knowledge. They have been cooperating with us. So for them, pure technologically, they do not fly. They made a transition from one dimension to another, kind of a chronic corridor. They need to know where they will find themselves next moment. So, very important aspect is like a GPS place where you want to go. Then, you need to know the energetic pressure, because any UFO is a vehicle having many tons of weight. You make a jump through the time corridor, and then you need to know, and you need to have enough energetic pressure to keep your vehicle stable in this place. Because sometimes, according to the natural, factors, they can make a mistake, like 1 or 2 kilometers away. Then, if they jump through time and space corridor and find themselves not here, the other place, it can cause the crash. So, this pyramid actually is a GPS marker inside of the pyramid. Maybe kind of a device which always transmits energy and information into space continuously, daily. But sometimes there are periods when this pyramid is working more intensive. It depends on 2 subjects. The activity of the core of the planet, like solstices or the other moments, or somebody is calling information. Like dialing computer, what is the temperature now in Houston? Okay, we're calling information. So the sensors starts to give the information. This is the most important thing. Then, this system on the planet Earth is connecting together many pyramids. And the main pyramid have been always on the northern pole. In ancient time it was Meru. So I'm sure that this pyramid have been oriented exactly on Meru. But when the last serious flood took place, and according to the ancient text, which is giving exact information, that a terrible asteroid impact took place at the end of the summer, 13,667 years ago. So it hit the planet so heavily that the planet lost an orbit, and our present calendar now is 365 days, but before it was 360, 5 days further from the sun. Climate changed critically. But the axis of rotation have been changed. First, after this impact, the pole turned 20 degrees south and 20 degrees west. Then it needed, I'll tell you, not approximately, 1,150 years when the planet had gotten relaxation a little bit, just 50 degrees, but 15 degrees left. So the pole was dismissed, like now 15 degrees. And during my presentation I will show you all the proofs about it. So, okay. At that ancient times and up till now, there is a very important device always hovering over the northern pole. In our understanding, it's kind of a transmitter and receiver which puts all the planets in our galaxy together. So all pyramids all over the world in any time must be oriented exactly to the northern pole, and the energetic beam which comes out of the earth looks exactly on this craft, on this device, which always hovering, also interdimensionally. And sometimes it can be seen, and I'll show you the pictures of this object hovering on the northern pole. It is also done by very good cameras. So, and it means that this is actually a technical device, a very important device for any well-developed extraterrestrial civilization, and actually for us too. Because people who have been living around, did they understand that or not, they played a certain role. Always extraterrestrial civilization, they attract people to support, sometimes to cut the heel, natural heel, so that it would be oriented exactly to the north. So from my point of view, and I'm sure that approximately 13,000 years ago, this pyramid have been rebuilt. And you can see clearly that there are at least 4 sides of the pyramid, northern side and eastern side, which are big sides, because this is the main mirrors. Understand what it means? Mirrors, reflectors. This very important mirror is reflecting the energy and signal to the northern pole. But in general, even those part of the pyramid which is on top, smaller one, is more than enough to retransmit a signal, well, to the skies, let's say to the universe. And now let's go to the other point. People, some spiritual people who have been living here, they need to be prepared to work with such type of, let's say, pyramid and equipment, because it's, on one hand, from the beginning, it's a natural pyramid. The extraterrestrial civilization thousands of years ago also gave a kind of advice, and according to ancient Egyptian texts, they made a choice of 64 special places all over the world where pyramids have been constructed. And some of the pyramids have been pure, let's say, artificial, like Egyptian pyramid. They are pure artificial. But the oldest one, they are half natural, like this one. Only sides have been cut. So it was done by hands of people, those who lived around, those people who later then have a chance to work with this pyramid, because being on top of the pyramid in a certain place, you can have a spiritual contact, let's say cooperate with extraterrestrial civilization. But your body, your energetical system must be prepared for this. Otherwise, few months and you get cancer. So, and here we have one most interesting, in my opinion, example of the system which was made, produced, it's handmade to tune energetic system of people to safely work with the pyramid. So, the principle, like a hand, like this one. If you take a hand, because everything is done according to the principles. And ancient knowledge says that the human body has the same construction as the earth, and the human body is constructed exactly to the same principle as the universe. It's so called Kabbalah or Kabbalah on principle. You will know about it later. So, and if you take like a human body, for easy explanation, you know we have 7 energetic bodies. Imagine these 7 energetic bodies as the playing cards. How to call it, I don't know. Let's take just 7 transparent. So this is your body, okay? We take a first card. What we see? We see copy of blood circulation system. But this is energetic skeleton. And if our vein is carrying blood, biological liquid, with all other stuff inside, energetic channels are vibrating with a certain vibration ratio. So, until this doubling, one vibration, here another vibration, this another vibration, and so on. And this is, it gives to the blood a certain capacities, and giving a possibility to trigger the all complicated system. So, the same here, blood. This is my skin and the blood system. Actually, if you take the earth and the lithosphere, exactly the same principle. There are some kind of energy channels moving through the earth, okay, through the soil. So now try to imagine how clever that people was, that they started the way from under the pyramid, or doesn't matter, from the beginning, and then going along the energetic channel through the soil. So they went like, cutting, making down. One reason, because when you enter the channel, you are under one type of vibration, and it corrects and tunes your energetical system and cleans the body. I'm sure that when you get out of here, you will feel yourself much better, because, do you understand it or not, you are under this cleaning influence, tuning influence. So, moving through these corridors, it gives you a very unusual possibility to tune your energetical system for most important aspect. First of all, to avoid any cancer possibilities. And then, when your system is tuned, you can go up to the pyramid, work there without any risk. Did you understand? Thanks for your attention. So, it's just shortly, because actually it's unbelievable knowledge how they did it. I told once to Sam, I would be most happy person if I could spend 1 hour among them, just to talk, just to experience. That was absolutely unusual people, and what they did here, well, actually, I think that this system have been closed because of the reason. Because when those ones who produced, who made this system, they passed, okay? Then for a certain moment, for a certain period, this system have been used by different people, even in our times. But then, I think maybe extraterrestrials somehow advised to someone to close the system. Because if you go inside and you don't understand what is it and what for it must be or it can be used, well, it can cause serious problems. So it was done. they closed it, and Sam is absolutely right, because it's needed so much, time, so much power to seal it. So somebody had a possibility and, how to say, idea to persuade people to do it, and they did it. So now, thanks to Sam, we can sit here, it's already opened, and we can experience this influence, a very unusual influence, because energy comes not from the earth, it comes from up. I feel very, very good. So, and this energy is connecting with the pyramid. So, each minute we are under special influence. These tunnels are tuning us on a certain vibrational ratio to preserve our bodies against any negative influences. But it's negative just because it's too high, not because it's too bad. It's just high. Again, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Valerie. Okay, let's make a room for the next group, and if you can please follow me.
Pyramidal structure, and I want to experiment here how the energy was changing here. It's possible from Germany to after my experiment to measure the energy. Yes, thank you. I will use a very simple instrument. It is a pentatonica tuning, because the sound is the main medium for the working with the energy. And for this, the healing field here, I think maybe I will try with its function. Yeah.
Beautiful sound. Oh my God. Some notes go through.
Thank you. It was changing energy fully. Yeah. Is possible to measure it, please, just now? Is possible to measure the energy now?
Wow! I tell you that this room is tuned exactly on few notes, because some of the notes are going through just when all the body starts to vibrate.
Yes, I felt
Some
it.
other, you felt it, you see? So exactly, it's tuned. So
Yeah, it's tuning.
thank you,
Yes, yes, yes.
thank you.
Thanks.
You did it.
Yeah, my body here.
Oh, wonderful! Thank you. So, best way to understand this, you know, this physics, wave
Yes,
physics,
yes.
much easier to understand through music, because it's one of the same principles.
Yeah, the same.
So if you see and feel it here, the same principles are working there, and we have a key for understanding, to cooperate and trigger the system.
Sure.
Because human being constructed so complicated. So we need just keys, ideas to go near for understanding. You did it well, thank you. Just great, I tell you. Oh.
The frequency is the same.
The same, yes?
Yeah.
From
Yeah.
the stone, but the frequency from the room has changed.
Yes, and how much?
No, I can only
You can-
measure the frequency.
Only frequency
Yeah,
of the
it's the
stone.
frequency from 8.6 is the same.
The same, the
From the
stone.
Yeah.
stone.
But the atmosphere, the other.
Yeah.
But you did it from the soul.
It is also, yeah, it's my improvisation.
Oh.
It was spiritual improvisation for this.
Thank you,
For this
thank
stone,
you.
yeah.
I think.
There's
Yeah.
a
Thank
crystal,
you.
the crystal
Very
there.
nice. Oh my
There is
God.
some code inside, and I listen to this code. to listen to,
Well.
to sing to the code.
I tell you, maybe in your previous lives you have been one of them.
There is a music therapy effect.
It's very
But you,
powerful.
yeah, well, I tell you,
Go here.
perfect, perfect.
Please, she must
Something special.
It's cleaning.
It's a normal. Cleansing process. It affects, you know, this. That's the case. Mhm.
We can move on slow. 10. We came here and discovered the entrance to the first underground chamber. Now this chamber is 12.5 meters long. The wall over there, the wall over here. It is 4 meters wide from my left to my right. 4 times 12.5, it is 50 square meters. The height of this room is about 4 meters. So if you imagine this chamber without the wooden support, then you would sense how big it is. It was completely filled with this loose material, and we had to remove it all manually using the wheelbarrows, the help of our volunteers and our workers. And then we realized that there were 8 tunnels leading to this chamber, meaning this was rather important meeting place. We also noticed that while people were walking through the tunnels, they simply feel good. And we've been receiving a lot of testimonies. People, for example, with asthma, they would breathe so well, they get out, they don't need the air pump anymore. People with all kind of allergies get out, the allergies are gone. People with all kind of pains, the pains are gone. So we wanted to find a scientific explanation for what's happening inside. And we started different measurements. For example, on the poster here, one instrument called air ion counter is shown, with which we were measuring the concentration of negative ions. As we know, as the medical science knows, negative ions clean the atmosphere from the dust, raise the level of oxygen in our bodies, and they kill viruses and bacteria. So, more negative ions, better for us. In our offices and homes, due to a lot of instruments and technology, our air there is not good, negative ions very low, a lot of positive ions, which are not good for us. The average concentration of negative ions in our homes, 100 per cubic centimeter. When we go out to the city centers, about 400. In the villages, out at open, 800. By the rivers, 1,500. In Bosnia, the biggest concentration is on the Olympic mountain Igman, close to Sarajevo, on the top, in the forest, about 5,000. Now, during the summer season and the winter, but during the summer, our volunteers do regular measurements of negative ionization. In the morning, before anyone comes, at the noon time, with a lot of tourists, in the evening when people are gone. We have usually 2 guys doing the measurements. They do it 3 times, and they are getting the average values. And in this chamber, the average value during this summer was about 36,000 negative ions per cubic centimeter, which is roughly 10 times higher than at the healthiest place in Bosnia. So it looks like somebody was building an underground healing facility. So now we are getting another aspect of the project, healing aspect. But negative ionization can explain just a part of us feeling good, or even some diseases being removed here. The second thing is cosmic radiation. As we know, as we walk on the surface, a lot of cosmic radiations. Some of them simply go through us, go through our planet. But some of the cosmic radiations are not good for us, and our body cells fight those radiations. Well, here, 25, 30 meters below, we are not finding those bad cosmic radiations. Number 3, natural radioactivity. We also know that on some places on planet, there are places with a lot of natural radioactivities. So we had a team from University of Sarajevo with the Geiger instruments that are measuring natural radioactivity. The values were 10 times lower than the minimum allowed. So no natural radioactivity. Also, people from the past, they knew about so-called Hartmann grids, the lines running east-west about 25 centimeters, north-south, the places where they intersect, bad for us. In ancient Babylon and ancient Sumerians, what they were doing when they were building their temples, they were placing those stone columns at the places of the Hartmann grid intersections, so people wouldn't get affected by those negative energies, let's call them that way. Here, the values for Hartmann grids equal 0. So in other words, the moment you get inside the tunnels today, there were no bad radiations for us. So our body cells don't have enemies anymore while we are here. So without the enemies, our body cells can start doing their job. And their job is to fix the problems in our body, to start the regeneration process, to start the self-healing process. And probably that's one of the most important things that we have with this underground labyrinth. If you're ready, you can move on. The guy with the instruments, he was measuring something outside. Right now I don't recall which one exactly, but he was showing me, okay, see, this radiation, that came here, no cosmic radiation.
It's like a Geiger counter doesn't tell you what kind of cosmic rays, whether it's proton, electron.
Geiger, they were measuring natural radioactivity with that natural radioactivity. And the values were 10 times lower than the minimum allowed. Ceramic material with 90 degrees here. What was its role? It's here. Then you got this guy here, completely different. Do they interact energetically? Let's see if this girl... Cindy? Where is our dowser? Is she here? Yeah, please come. Let's see about this megalith here. Do we have again the water somewhere?
Yep.
Yes.
Right there.
Exactly. Where?
Right here. Right there. And
So
it's
it begins there?
It's going that way, flowing that way.
This way.
Yes, yeah. And it goes all the way to. It goes over to here, actually. This is why.
So both ceramic and this stone are above the water stream. How could we find out
No,
the
wait,
connection
I mean,
between the
see.
two?
More than one stream.
More than one stream.
This gets harder here, huh? I mean, above it was loose, and then this is far down as you
no,
could go?
this is clay. This is natural flooring, and this clay is very old. But then the thing is, with these underground water streams, I mean, we are finding them so many. I mean, naturally you can find some, but not so many. And some people even claim that all the tunnels are built above the water streams, so which probably means that they did some engineering work. They were making some canals below us. They knew some connection, water, moving, energy, different types of energy.
And it's
Hollow
a big
places.
it's a big. I'm getting about 60 feet between the two streams. One is higher, one is lower.
Which is also important when you have two parallel water streams. In between, the electricity is formed.
Yeah.
When they move.
No, there's a distinct difference between that boulder there and this.
There is a connection between them.
Yeah.
This looks more natural.
This is natural.
This is natural.
could
That's ceramic.
be made.
Yes. But there is why they put them together? Interesting.
So that's where they were originally. They weren't moved by the volunteers or anything.
No. I mean, that's so heavy. I mean, you could try to move it. You would need like 50 people to move this guy. Very heavy.
That's when you realize, when you start working with stones in nature, you realize how difficult it is to move stones in nature, unless you have some really good technology.
They're really big people.
We don't have different sizes. It goes under.
It's like a layer, huh? Structure.
Yes.
What have we got in here, sir?
Our megalith K5, the biggest one so far, we project it to be over 40 tons in mass. It goes on. It goes about 3-4 meters to the left under the conglomerate. Wow, huge. Okay, we can have the new.
When they're
Well, this is loose.
excavating,
This is loose material.
which is loose and which
This
is
is
not.
loose, and this is relatively compact.
This is clay.
You have clay layer here.
You could make
this
some
one
good
now-
pottery from this.
Sam, this one now is not the loose material because we had a free part of the tunnel being so small that nothing is to do, so we are widening it.
Okay.
And this is now the
Oh, this
material
one
from the walls here.
How many of you are over there? How many?
5 inside,
5 inside.
behind him.
Okay. All right. Hard work, a lot of work, and slow work. November 2010. We were coming from this direction, came here, this chamber was completely filled with the fill-up material. When we cleaned everything, we realized that the height is about 2.5 meters. It goes like this, 2.5 meters. It's a 30 square meters, or 300 square feet. And there are 9 tunnels leading to this chamber. Let me show them to you. The first one we just used, number 1. Number 2 is below the rock. Number 3 below the rock. Number 4 is over here. Number 5 behind the wood. Number 6 is open now. It's over there. Number 7 below the rock. Close all the way to the top. Number 8 behind the drywall, going this way. And number 9 behind me, which is open right now. So we have 9 tunnels leading to this chamber. So when we came from here 4 years ago, we were thinking which way to go. We took compass looking for southeast. This is southeast. We removed the drywall, started removing the filling material, and after 4 or 5 hours we could see the hole in the wall. We removed more material, the hole was getting bigger and bigger. And then we crawled in to the hole and we discovered the first 2 open sections. So after 5 years of work, we found the first 2 open sections. One going to the right, which is 200 meters long, and then it is blocked at the end. One going to the left, 154 meters, and then it's blocked. On this map, it should look like this. So we are here right now. This is the tunnel going to the right, 200 meters, and this is the one going to the left, 154. The one and the pyramid is there. The one to the right, we can see a few photos from that tunnel section. For example, the first one, the top left, shows the tunnel over here, and to the left and to the right we can see drywalls. You have drywalls, meaning there are more tunnels. And then we can see canal here. Canal, canal, canal in different sections, different heights. And we can see the water. And now let's let this group go first. Our French group. Hello guys. Hello. 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 Hi. Remain the same. Now this year, as you probably know, in May we had terrible floods in Bosnia. Half of the Bosnia was flooded. You would expect that this water level rises. It did not happen. It remained the same. So it meant for us that the water in the pyramid tunnels is not the surface water, but it has been here for a very long time. So we took samples to analyze it, because if the water has been there for a very long time, you would expect it is full of microbes and dirty. So we sent samples to Institute of Public Health in Zenica, which is about 30 kilometers from here. They did chemical and microbiological analysis. The results, the water was drinkable, healthy. Well, how come it's healthy? Because of the high concentration of negative ions. They act as the barrier for viruses and bacteria. They don't allow microbes their way in. And then we wanted to see if this water had some energy qualities.
Thank you. A big one. I'm sorry for interruption. We continue. Sorry.
No. Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you for the work.
So what we did, we sent the samples of the water to here, Ljubljana, Slovenia, to institute called Institute for Bioelectromagnetism and New Biology. So what they did, they were giving the samples of the tunnel water to a group of Slovenians for 7 days. And the other group were receiving samples of city water, but they did not tell them which water they were drinking. And they were filming them with a special camera called GDV camera, developed by Professor Korotkov from University of St. Petersburg. Thank you. Now, the city water that we drink, as we know, this water is captured somewhere in the mountains. It goes through the metal pipes. It's full of chlorine. It's full of traces of heavy metals. So by the time it comes to our kitchens, energetically it is a dead water. We drink it, it simply goes through our body outside. But this water here, you drink it, it feeds your cells, bodily organs. It even reduces the entropy. So that's the reason why we got this certificate saying, yes, you do have water with the healing qualities. Then what we did, we got the water in the plastic bottles, the kind that we use every day. We got outside. The moment you get it outside, it loses 50% of the properties. Why? The cosmic radiation. And that's why we decided to bottle this water and sell it. We call it as a souvenir. But we bottle it in the glass containers, dark brown, because if it is dark brown, dark green, dark blue, it reflects the radiation. So it keeps the properties. So we started selling it last year as a form of income, so we can continue the work here and pay archaeologists, analysis, and so on and so forth. So if some of you wants to get that water, it will be available before the lecture today. So in front of the conference room, we'll have the water and the books and DVDs, and if somebody wants to buy, you're welcome to do that. Yes.
I took water back last year,
Yeah.
and I didn't put any protection around it for going through the airport or the X-ray or TSA, none of that stuff. And 2 days later, I was speaking at a dowsing organization in Sedona, and they measured it completely, and it was at least 20 feet. It had the highest force field of life force that this person, who was a brilliant internationally known dowser, he said it's the highest life force field he's ever seen in any body of water. So even though it may have been contaminated along the way with the airport and the X-rays and all that, it still was probably at least 20 feet, and they verified it had healing properties and probably could be used even just homeopathically, small drops to charge other water or other liquid. Yeah.
Yes. Well, that's the reason why we sell it in small bottles. You don't really need to drink 2 liters of this water. I mean, water carries the information. And as we know from like Dr. Masaru Emoto works, I mean, depending on surrounding areas, what influences the water, that's how the water, reacts. If you're sending the chakras of love, the water will make those beautiful, molecules. If it is hate or whatever, then it changes the molecular structure. If it is contaminated, it looks bad. If it is city water from London, New York, or Sarajevo, it also looks ugly. We have some photos on the posters. So we send him our samples also, and you will see how beautiful structure it forms. Why? What does this water remember? The best electromagnetism, the best ultrasound frequency, the levitation frequency, the best Schumann resonance, the high negative ionization. So this water is alive, it's a happy water. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to show you one of the tunnels with the water. That's new from the last year. We've been working very hard this past winter and spring. It's about 150 meters, so I'd like to show you, but briefly, so we're going to walk a little bit quicker. So please follow me, and at the end of this time...
And quite a chore, huh?
A lot of questions, I must say. The original builders and those who were closing some sections, some they were leaving open. Why they were leaving them open? Probably there was a reason. Water is so important for so many reasons. First, water gives humidity. High humidity acts as a binder for the material. Imagine that we open a couple more entrances with the airflow, with the hot summer, dry air. You drop humidity, everything would collapse. So humidity is an important factor. But not only that, with the quartz crystal and the water, I think you start generating more negative ions. Plus you are getting healing qualities of the water. So it was for them working on several different levels. We try to understand it. It's a totally different concept than ours. We try to understand it.
Guy Wolansky has a healing machine in New York, about 40 minutes drive from New York City. He pulses, he uses Tesla waves. He creates Tesla waves at 7.83 hertz. And he found that he gets better results if he controls the humidity at a certain level, temperature and humidity. So it could be 80% humidity, because he finds there's a resonance of the water molecule he stimulates. He uses frequencies, but I can't say more because it's proprietary.
I understand.
What the frequency he uses. It has to do with excitation of the water molecule.
Okay, let the others come and see, please.
Can you take it?
Can you take? Okay, take some. Over there. Over there is conglomerate. Yeah. It's closed all the way to the top. And you see it's standing there. It doesn't come down. Like it is programmed.
It's ridiculous. They rammed it in here with some pressure, or sucked it in, or levitated it in.
It has to be under pressure.
Oh, where the hell they did?
Maybe like we do now concrete, you know, with the pumps.
Yes,
tubes.
exactly. Yeah. All right, let me come down. How is it possible that we have such a good airflow? This tunnel here is about 4 meters in height. Some tunnels 2.5 meters, some of them 2, some of them just 1 meter. If we start cleaning the tunnels, for example this one here, then this ceiling would drop from 4 meters to 3.5 meters over there. Then it continues to drop to 3 meters and 2 and 1. And after that it started rising again. 2 meters, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1. So it goes up and down, up and down. So let's say if we view 100 meters, it looks like a sinusoid. Now, this is very unusual. When we make tunnels today, you make it 5 meters high, you put fans back and front, and you got the airflow. They did not have fans, they did not have power, nor they needed it. Because when you have a low ceiling, the pressure that's coming from the back is stronger. When you have high ceiling, the pressure is weaker. When you have low, stronger, weaker, stronger, weaker, different air pressure makes the air move. So when you have one long tunnel, like a sinusoid, it's like you placed a big fan at the beginning, pushing the air slowly. And when you have, look how many tunnels we have here, hundreds of them, it's like you have hundreds of fans. And there is a constant airflow. How do we know that? The temperature in every tunnel is the same, 12 degrees. Humidity the same, 75%. It means there is a constant flow of the air in every corner. Genius. Without technology, just with the architecture, they were achieving so much. And for those more on energy and spiritual level, as you were walking through the tunnels, you were able to see this so-called Bowie scale. Bowie scale. Now, this is the scale of energy potential. And some of you know that a healthy human is at about 7,500 Bowies, 8,000. If we are tired, it drops to 6,000. If we are sick, 5,500. And if you are full of the energy, 9,000, 10,000. If you are spiritual, 12,000. If you can heal with the touch, 14,000, 15,000. The water that we drink at homes, tap water, city water, is only 3,500 bovies. So now imagine, we are 8 or 15,000, drinking 3,500, it's simply pulling us down, does not give us the energy that we need. But on the other hand, if we eat raw vegetables, no pesticide, no GMO, it's about 10,000 bovies. If we drink freshly squeezed orange juice, it's about 12,000. And that's rather logical, it's a common sense. We know if we drink and eat good and healthy, our energy level goes up. Even some places, like places where there is a lot of meditation, positive thoughts, like Buddhist temples, they got 14,000 on a Bovi scale. And here in the tunnels, 25,000, meaning this is a special place. And we are saying this is a sacred space, really. So the moment you got here, the energy started working on you. So right now it's probably a couple of 3,000 Bovi more than when you entered the tunnel system. Okay, now you can go slowly back.
Excuse me, how do you measure that?
This scale, it has a scientific point, which is about 7,500 Bovi. And it matches 7,500 angstrom, and that's the lower border of the red color, or but mostly it is measured by dowsing means. Dowsing. So there is a scale, and they ask the questions, and they show you where you at on this scale. Yeah, it's not 100% scientific, but the reason why we insist on such methods like dowsing, it gives us very good hints. For example, we know that dowsing is very effective when it comes to underground waters. So if one experienced dowser tells you, hey, you got the water, let's say 20 or 50 meters below, the chance is that 70–75% he or she is right. If you have 5 dowsers and they all tell you the same thing, exactly here, 20 meters below is the water, it's probably 90% that they are right. So when we have so many of them, they give us an idea. If all of them are telling us, you have the megalith, you have the water underneath. So now we try to, connect the dots. Why? And then when you have so many underground water streams, the next logical explanation, they're not all natural. So you have some engineered work underground. That's why I'm saying always, they're always good as a hint. Because sometimes you, as a scientist, you cannot find explanations. But then you're getting these inputs from, different walks of life. And they help you to get the complete picture. All right. I'm looking for your shoes. I see you. You're in the back. Come over here.
But you have to be here.
I can see you. Ah, look at this. Now, this block we discovered in early stage, 2006. At that time, the conglomerate here was a little bit higher, going all the way up to here. So everything below was covered in sand and rocks. Only the upper parts were sticking. So all these carvings are rather recent, maybe 100 years or so. But everything below is very old, and you can see there are no sharp edges like here. So all these are old. And as we can see, there are some carvings geometrically shaped. Some of them looks more like regular letters. Some of them are little modified letters like letter H, but a little bit different. Letter M, and so on and so forth. Now, here you can see more of them. And here also, R, Y, and so on. Now, of course, the best known combination of the geometry and the letters is called runic writings, runic symbols. It's one of the oldest conventionally accepted writings in Europe. According to some conventional scientists, there are about 2,500 to 3,000. according to some independent researchers, they go back to 8,000 years back. And the origin, the Middle Europe, then going north, Scandinavia, going west, UK, and then going south. Now we have 7 symbols that perfectly match runic symbols. These are runic symbols. As you can see, the combination of geometry and the letters. Here also we have R, and P, and M. But also we have some of the symbols we are finding on this block. Now, if they are runic symbols, it means that they are more recent. So when we started excavation here, we thought it was only one culture. The tunnel builders, who also the megalith builders and so on. But it seems that we have more cultural layers. It's very possible that megalithic culture was the first one before we had conglomerate. We were first one. There was a valley here, the flat area, and they had those megaliths, you know, placing them above very potent energy places. Megalithic culture, they were gone. Everything was covered by the conglomerate, huge floods, the second civilization, the tunnel builders, who were the pyramid builders at the same time. They carved all those tunnels in, they moved material, built the pyramid. The third civilization, those who sealed everything off. And maybe the fourth one, the very entrance of the tunnels, up to a little bit, another 15 meters from here, there was open, one small tunnel. So they were coming from the entrance, they were carving their symbols, and they probably belong to one of the known cultures. So that might be the fourth one, the runic symbols. And we are the fifth one, the 5 worlds.
And there is
like
a
in the
sixth
Mayans.
one.
Coming.
There is a 6th one.
There is a 6th one.
The oldest one.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
The deepest one.
Oh yeah. Below us.
170 meters.
But for all of them, or all of us, this was extremely important area. Even if you don't understand sometimes, but then we are trying to get the knowledge.
So time goes back even
more.
And then it would be good what Paul would say concerning the sun storms and everything. And
Yes.
Valerie, altogether maybe we find an idea,
Yes.
a solution.
Today we are romantic, we live on the surface, we think that's the only and the best way to live, we can see the sun and the sky. But in the past, it wasn't like that always. I mean, probably the atmosphere was contaminated, it was very dangerous to live on the surface. And of course, people were hiding below the surface, and this is where they found their refuge. And that's why we had in so many cultures idea about the subterranean, cities and tunnels, and people finding all the resources below the ground. And as you can see here, they were able to produce them. The water, the fresh air, the negative ionization, all this stuff, the energy sources they needed. So still a lot to uncover here. And after 9 years and 1,350 meters, we're actually still at the beginning. Maybe we uncover 5% of this network. And what we do know is that the biggest discoveries are in front of us. So when you have people coming here like Shock saying, oh, it's all natural, who cares what they say? The science is not about their opinions. The science is about, research, and progress, trying to understand, analyze, testing, dating. All right, let's move on. Then we started doing all these measurements, and then we realized how little we knew about the tunnel system. And if it is the truth that the vibration level somehow is getting higher, more negative ions, the Bowie scale, stuff like that, it means that it cleans us while we stay here. Deeper we go, we get more purified, more pure. And then the logical conclusion would be, we can enter the pyramid only if we are absolutely pure. totally different concept than any other pyramid in the world. And if that's the case, it means that we have to be ready for the pyramid. Not anyone can just enter it. We have to be ready. So if that's the case, then it justifies such a relatively slower pace. So I think there is a reason why it goes rather slow. But again, after 9 years to have so much work done without the official help, I think that we've done miracle.
Yeah.
Now, archaeology is very expensive. During the winter, we have to replace at least 150 to 200 meters of wooden support. Every 3-4 years, we need to replace all of it because of high humidity. It got rotten. But now, some of the coal miners were telling us, why don't you use metal support? Well, metal support, yes, it has duration. But you bring metal, you bring iron, it generates its own electromagnetic field. So now it affects what they created here. So we don't want to make that mistake. So we go with organic material and some problems that they bring, but at least we don't change stuff around here. Of course, electricity is the second thing. 220, 50 hertz, not very healthy, we know that. But we need to see what we do here. Which brings another question. They did not have electricity. How did they move? And they had a labyrinth. If we open all the tunnels today here, we couldn't find our way out, even with so many lights and lamps. How did they move? Or who were they? Or what was the real purpose? So still all these questions remain unanswered. Now this will be the end of today's tour. I hope that you enjoy. We go back to our bus and we go and have a nice lunch today. Thanks. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
About the pyramids ends there.
Et pour la science classique, l'histoire des pyramides s'arrête là.
And that's so wrong.
Et c'est tout faux.
Pyramids are built on all 6 continents.
Les pyramides sont construites sur les 5 continents.
For example, in China,
Par exemple,
250
en
of them.
Chine, 250 pyramides.
In the central Chinese province of Shanxi.
Dans la province centrale de Chine, qui s'appelle Shaanxi.
In northern Sudan,
Au
224
nord du
pyramids.
Soudan, 225 pyramides.
What is with those numbers for you French people?
I'm sorry.
How do you make that construction for numbers?
224.
Yeah, numbers.
I'm sorry.
No, but I noticed that with so many other people. We have 300 pyramids in Peru.
On a 300 pyramides au Pérou.
To the south in Cavachi
Au
area,
sud, à Cavacheria,
to the north in Tucumã area.
et au nord, à Tocumeria.
We have 200 pyramids
On a 200
in
pyramides
southwestern corner of the state of Illinois.
dans le sud-ouest de l'Illinois, USA.
We have pyramids in Indonesia,
On a des pyramides en Indonésie,
Cambodia,
au Cambodge,
Australia,
en Australie,
7 of them near Brisbane,
plusieurs d'entre elles à côté de Brisbane.
155 in Egypt,
155 en Égypte,
7 of them on the island of Mauritius,
7 sur l'île Maurice,
in the middle of the Indian Ocean.
dans le milieu de l'océan Indien.
We have tens of them on Canary Islands,
On a des dizaines aux îles Canaries,
in the Atlantic Ocean.
dans l'Atlantique.
We have them in Bolivia.
On en a en Bolivie,
We have them in southern France, very
au
small
sud de la
ones.
France, des
We
petites.
have them on ancient Greek
On
territory,
a aussi dans le territoire grec ancien,
16 of them.
16.
We have 5 of them on Italian soil,
On en a 5 sur le sol de l'Italie,
43 of them on the island of Sicily,
43 sur l'île de Sicile,
and in Mesoamerica,
et en Mésoamérique,
Mexico,
Mexique,
Guatemala,
Guatemala,
Honduras,
Honduras,
El Salvador,
le Salvador
and Belize.
et à Belize.
Tens of thousands of pyramids.
Des dizaines de milliers de pyramides en tout.
So the world of the past was the world of the pyramids.
Donc le monde du passé, c'était le monde des pyramides.
The biggest pyramid on Mexican soil
La plus grande pyramide sur le Mexique
is the Pyramid of the Sun
est la pyramide du Soleil,
in the city of Teotihuacan.
dans la cité de Teotihuacan.
City with 3 big pyramids,
Une ville avec 3 grosses pyramides.
Sun, Moon, Quetzalcoatl.
Le soleil, la lune et celle du Quetzalcoatl.
And 600 smaller pyramidal structures.
Et 600 petites structures pyramidales.
And that's just 20% of this town.
Et c'est seulement 20% de cette ville.
This pyramid is 74 meters in height.
Cette pyramide est à 74 mètres de haut.
The biggest pyramid on Egyptian soil.
La plus grosse pyramide sur le sol égyptien.
The Great Pyramid of Egypt.
La grande pyramide d'Égypte.
Exactly twice the size.
Et le double.
147 meters in height.
147 mètres de haut.
And the largest pyramid on the planet.
Et la plus grosse pyramide de la planète.
Is in front of you.
Et en face de vous.
The Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun.
La pyramide du soleil de Bosnie.
In April of 2005,
en 2005,
I first came to this little town of Visoko.
Je suis venu pour la première fois dans cette petite ville de Visoko.
Not because of the pyramids.
Pas à cause des pyramides.
But to visit the local museum.
Mais pour aller voir le musée national local.
And then I saw this.
Et ensuite, j'ai vu ce que vous voyez en face de vous.
For 20 years before that,
pour 20 ans en arrière,
I had been researching the pyramid phenomenon.
J'ai fait des recherches sur les phénomènes des pyramides.
My PhD is in Mayan pyramids.
Mon doctorat est en pyramide Maya.
So when I saw this hill,
donc lorsque j'ai vu cette colline,
I was looking.
Je regardais.
In front of me is one side.
En face de moi, il y a un côté.
To the left is the second side.
À gauche, le deuxième côté.
To the right is the third side.
À droite, le troisième côté.
In the back is the fourth side.
Et de l'autre côté, le quatrième côté.
So we have 4 sides.
Donc on a 4 côtés.
In front of us is first triangular face.
En face de nous, il y a la première face triangulaire.
To the left is the second one.
À gauche, la deuxième.
To the right is the third.
À droite, la troisième.
In the back is the fourth, damaged one.
Et derrière, il y a la quatrième, celle qui est endommagée.
From here we can nicely see 2 corners.
D'ici, on peut voir joliment dessinées 2 pointes.
Places where the sides meet.
Qui sont placées là où les côtés se rejoignent.
We can also see nicely the same slope from bottom to the top.
On peut aussi voir la chute qui va du bas vers le haut. La pente, pardon.
Slope. Now, the eastern slope or eastern triangular face of the pyramid.
La face est triangulaire
is at 45 degrees.
Est à 45 degrés.
The western slope.
La pente ouest
is at 45 degrees.
Est à 45 degrés aussi.
Northern 43.
La nord 43 degrés.
Southern 42.
Et celle du sud 42 degrés.
You have to have in mind there was thousands of years and a lot of erosion.
On doit garder à l'esprit que c'était il y a des dizaines de milliers d'années et qu'il ne faut pas oublier le phénomène de l'érosion.
So, in spring of 2005,
donc au printemps 2005,
when I saw this almost perfect geometry of the pyramid,
lorsque j'ai vu cette presque parfaite géométrie,
I took compass.
J'ai pris ma boussole.
And compass showed me that this side
et la boussole m'a montré que
is aligning with the north.
Est aligné avec le nord.
The other one south.
De l'autre côté le sud.
East, west.
Est et ouest.
Mother Nature does not make hills.
La mère nature ne fait pas de collines.
With 4 sides.
Avec 4 côtés.
With 4 triangular faces.
Avec 4 faces triangulaires.
And perfect orientation to the cardinal
et une
points.
parfaite orientation aux points cardinaux.
But intelligent hands.
Mais c'est une main intelligente qui le fait.
Now in geometry, 4 sides they meet at apex.
Donc en géométrie, les 4 côtés se rejoignent à l'apex.
So really, geometrically speaking, this is a pyramid.
Donc d'un point de vue géométrique, c'est une pyramide.
So from the first moment, I had no doubt that we have artificial structure.
Donc dès le premier moment, j'avais aucun doute que nous avions une structure artificielle.
But after thousands of years,
mais après des dizaines d'années,
due to the wind,
à cause du vent,
and the climate,
du climat,
pyramid has been covered by soil and vegetation.
La pyramide a été couverte par de la terre et de la végétation.
We have exactly the same case in China.
Et nous avons exactement le même cas en Chine.
With all of their pyramids.
Avec toutes ces pyramides.
Bosnia and China are the same.
La Bosnie et la Chine
level.
sont à peu près au même niveau.
Egypt is south.
L'Égypte est au sud,
Different climate.
des climats différents.
Sunny and dry.
C'est ensoleillé et sec.
No vegetation
Aucune végétation
or greenery.
ou d'érosion.
We go on the other side of the world, Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras.
Lorsqu'on va de l'autre côté du monde, Guatemala, Honduras, Mexique,
Again, the same climate belt like Bosnia and China.
à ce moment-là encore le même climat que l'on retrouve en Bosnie et en Chine.
And all of their pyramids are in jungles, in forests.
Et toutes ces pyramides sont en plein milieu de la jungle, dans la forêt.
90% of them are still uncovered.
90% d'entre elles ne sont pas découvertes.
And most of them are in much worse shape than this one here.
Et la plupart ont une forme un peu pire que celle que l'on a derrière nous.
Here we have 3 very well preserved sides.
Ici, nous avons 3 côtés vraiment bien préservés.
East, north and west.
Est, nord et ouest.
The layer of soil is about 1 meter in average.
La couche de sol est environ d'1 mètre.
On the southern side,
sur la partie sud,
over 10 meters.
On a à peu près 10 mètres de couverture.
So, it's 2005.
Donc on est en 2005.
I said to myself,
je me suis dit,
let me climb the top.
Je vais nettoyer le dessus.
Which I did.
Grimper le dessus.
Which I did.
Ce que j'ai fait.
I'm looking around to see if there are more
je regarde
anomalies.
Moi et je me rends compte qu'il y a de plus en plus d'anomalies.
Across the valley, another hill.
Dans la vallée, une autre colline.
3 triangular faces.
Avec 3 parties triangulaires, 3 faces triangulaires.
Plateau on the top.
Un plateau sur le dessus.
And perfect orientation to the cardinal points.
Et une parfaite orientation sur les points cardinaux.
So I said to myself, oh, now we have 2 pyramids.
Alors je me suis dit, ah, attends, on a 2 pyramides.
So usually if they come in pairs in South and then Mesoamerica, they call them pyramids of sun and pyramids of moon.
Généralement, en Mésoamérique, ils les appellent pyramides du soleil et pyramides de la lune.
And in my head, I said, okay, let me add the Bosnian, so everybody would know exact location.
On va ajouter à ça, à la Bosnie. Can you repeat this? Sorry.
I added Bosnian.
Donc j'ai juste ajouté le suffixe bosnian sur les pyramides du soleil et de la lune.
So at that time, I had a group of 8-9 people with me on the top of the Sun Pyramid.
À ce moment-là, j'avais un groupe de 8-9 personnes avec moi sur le sommet de la pyramide.
And they were discussing the Middle Age.
Et ils discutaient du Moyen Âge.
At that time, on the top of the Sun Pyramid
was à ce moment-là, sur le
small fortress
de la pyramide du soleil, il y avait une petite forteresse.
And during the Middle Age Kingdom,
et pendant au Moyen Âge, pendant l'âge des rois,
like I mentioned yesterday in the bus,
comme je vous l'ai dit hier dans le bus,
university.
Il y a eu la première université ici.
With independent scholars coming to Bosnia.
Avec des collègues indépendants qui venaient ici.
But I was thinking about something else.
Puis j'ai pensé à autre chose.
About the pyramids.
Les pyramides.
And the valley.
La vallée.
And then while thinking about it, I started receiving some
Et en pensant
pictures.
à ça, j'ai commencé à recevoir quelques images.
I saw the valley being completely paved.
J'ai vu la vallée étant complètement pavée.
And then I interrupted my friends.
Et j'ai interrompu mes amis.
And told them.
Et je leur ai dit.
Gentlemen, do you know?
Messieurs, est-ce que vous savez?
That we are standing on the top of the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun.
Que l'on est debout sur la pyramide du soleil de Bosnie.
The largest on the planet.
La plus grande du monde.
And across the valley.
Et dans la vallée.
Is the Bosnian Pyramid of the Moon.
Et la pyramide de la lune de Bosnie.
Both of them are bigger than Egyptian pyramids.
Les deux sont plus grandes que la pyramide d'Égypte.
So now they were shocked.
Maintenant ils sont choqués.
So I was claiming that we are standing on the top of the artificial structure.
Donc je leur disais tout ça sur le haut de cette structure artificielle.
But those days I was promoting 3 of my books about the ancient history in Sarajevo.
Ces quelques jours, j'ai fait la promotion de mes derniers livres dans une bibliothèque à Sarajevo.
So they didn't know what to think.
Ils ne savaient pas quoi penser.
I said, let me show you something.
Mais je vais vous montrer quelque chose.
In the trunk of my Jeep was my new book.
Dans le coffre de ma Jeep, j'avais mon nouveau livre.
Which I named The Civilizations Before the Recorded History.
Que j'ai nommé les civilisations anciennes avant la civilisation connue.
And I remember the picture of the Sun Pyramid in Mexico.
Et je me suis rappelé de la photo de la pyramide du soleil en Mexique.
That reminded me of the Sun Pyramid here.
Qui m'a fait penser à la pyramide du soleil ici.
The Western Slope.
la partie ouest.
So we went down to the car.
Donc on est rentré dans la voiture.
I'm opening the trunk.
J'ouvre mon coffre.
But the book is brand new.
Mais le livre est vraiment tout neuf.
They just printed it.
Ils viennent juste de l'imprimer.
So I didn't know which page to open.
Donc je savais pas quelle page ouvrir.
I just opened
Je l'ai juste ouvert
the middle of the book.
au milieu.
The page 108.
La page 108.
1 and 8, 9, the second number.
1 plus 8, ça fait 9.
And there was a picture of the Sun Pyramid in Mexico.
Et il y avait une photo de la pyramide du soleil au
I
Mexique.
rotated the book for 180 degrees.
J'ai fait une rotation du livre à 180 degrés.
And what we were looking from the plateau was exactly the same like the pyramid in Mexico.
Et ce qu'on a vu sur le sommet de la pyramide était la même chose que ce qu'on voyait au Mexique.
Well, after that, I
Après ça,
started some preliminary investigation
j'ai fait quelques excavations préliminaires, quelques
as a
recherches,
physical person,
en tant que personne physique,
as the individual.
en tant qu'individu.
Geological core drilling.
Des coordonnées géologiques.
For example, we discovered that clay layers,
Par exemple, nous avons découvert que les couches d'argile,
which should be, if natural,
qui devraient être naturelles,
horizontal,
horizontales,
in our case they were vertical.
dans notre cas, elles étaient verticales.
Like somebody was bringing clay,
Un peu comme
building
si
the
quelqu'un
structure.
avait ramené de l'argile pour construire la structure.
We were doing some archaeological trenches,
On a fait quelques tranchées archéologiques,
geomorphological analysis.
des analyses géomorphologiques.
I was paying for all of that.
J'ai payé pour tout
So
ça.
by October of 2005,
Donc en octobre 2005,
I published my first book about the
j'ai
Bosnian
publié mon premier
Pyramid
livre
discovery.
sur les premières pyramides de Bosnie découvertes.
I had a press conference.
J'ai une conférence de presse,
Everybody came there.
tout le monde est venu,
Associated Press,
des associés de presse,
France Press,
la presse de France,
Reuters, regional media,
des
TVs,
médias régionaux, la télévision,
and the news went out to the world.
et la nouvelle est partie dans le monde.
Of course,
Bien sûr,
immediately we had some against us.
immédiatement, on a eu des gens contre nous.
But then I received 12,000 emails of support.
Mais j'ai reçu approximativement 12 000 emails de soutien.
And I said to myself, this is not
Et je me suis dit,
a one-man show,
ce n'est pas un one-man show,
but cultural heritage that belongs to the world.
mais un héritage culturel qui appartient au monde.
And then I established the non-profit foundation
Et à ce moment-là, j'ai établi la fondation à but non lucratif,
under the name Archaeological Park,
sous le nom Parc archéologique,
Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun Foundation.
la pyramide du soleil de Bosnie.
In the last 9 years,
Les 9 dernières années,
this has become the most active archaeological site in the world.
c'est devenu le site archéologique le plus actif du monde.
At the early stage, I went to the National Museum of Bosnia,
Récemment, je suis allé au Musée national de Bosnie.
trying to speak to the archaeologists at the University of Sarajevo.
J'ai essayé de parler aux archéologistes de l'université de Sarajevo
But they were basically laughing at me.
et ils se moquaient de moi.
They were saying, in Bosnia, we never had pharaohs,
En Bosnie, on n'a jamais eu de pharaon,
therefore we cannot
donc
have
on ne
pyramids.
peut pas avoir de pyramide.
Not realizing
Qui réalisaient pas
that pharaohs had nothing to do with
que
the
les
biggest
pharaons
pyramids in
n'avaient
Egypt.
rien à voir avec les pyramides d'Égypte.
So 50 years from now,
Donc il y a 50 ans,
people will be laughing at them
les gens seraient moqués d'eux,
like they were laughing at me.
de la même manière qu'ils se moquaient de moi.
So we started excavation,
Donc on a commencé les excavations, des
and the
recherches,
rest we're going to show you over the next few days.
et le reste, on va vous le montrer les prochains jours.
Well, according to my research,
D'après mes recherches,
there are some common features
il y a des troncs communs
for the pyramids all over the planet.
sur les pyramides tout autour du monde.
Of course, one is geometry.
Bien sûr, le premier tronc commun est géométrique.
Usually there are four-sided pyramids,
Généralement, les pyramides ont 4 côtés,
rarely 3 or 5 sides.
rarement 3 ou 5.
But even if they are step pyramids, they are still, geometrically speaking,
Et même si nous
a
avons
pyramid.
des pyramides à marche, ils sont généralement avec des côtés très droits.
Element number 2 is the orientation.
Le deuxième élément est l'orientation.
All Chinese pyramids are oriented to the cardinal points.
Toutes les pyramides de Chine sont orientées aux points cardinaux.
And orientation north-south being the most important.
Et l'orientation nord-sud étant la plus importante.
The element number 3 is the
Troisième élément.
artificial construction material.
Les constructions artificielles, les matériaux utilisés.
In Peru, they used adobe bricks.
Au Pérou, ils utilisent des briques Adobe.
In Guatemala, shaped volcanic stones.
Au Guatemala, ils utilisent des pierres volcaniques.
In Mexico, they use sandstone.
Au Mexique, ils utilisent la pierre de sable.
In Egypt, limestone and granite.
Et en Égypte, ils utilisent des pierres de granit.
And here in Bosnia, you're going to see concrete tomorrow.
Et ici, en Bosnie, on va en trouver du béton.
The next element,
le prochain élément,
inner passageways.
Les passages souterrains.
The next one, underground tunnels.
Le prochain, ce seront dans les tunnels souterrains.
The next one, water.
Le prochain élément, c'est l'eau.
Here we can have two major rivers above the ground.
Ici, on peut avoir deux rivières principales au-dessus, à la surface.
And a lot of underground water below the ground.
Et beaucoup de courants souterrains en dessous du sol.
The next element, sacred geometry.
Le prochain élément, c'est la géométrie sacrée.
And the pyramids, elements of sacred geometry have been incorporated.
Et des éléments de géométrie sacrée sont incorporés dans les pyramides.
For example, number pi.
Par exemple, le nombre phi.
3.14.
Pi, 3.14. Pi, c'est pi, pas phi. 3.14.
But also, number phi or number phi or golden cut.
Et aussi le nombre phi ou le nombre d'or.
1.618.
1,68.
Here also, three main pyramids in Bosnia.
Il y a aussi les trois principales pyramides ici.
Sun, Moon and Dragon.
Le Soleil, la Lune et la pyramide du Dragon.
Form equilateral triangle.
Forment un triangle équilatéral.
Which is the perfect geometrical shape.
C'est la géométrie parfaite.
And as such, part of the sacred geometry.
Et une part principale dans la géométrie sacrée.
Whenever you have sacred geometry,
à chaque fois que vous avez de la géométrie sacrée,
you have the energy movement.
On a des mouvements en énergie.
So those 7 elements,
donc ces 7 éléments,
I mentioned in my book about the pyramids.
Je les ai mentionnés dans mon livre sur les pyramides.
So instead of thinking in the terms of pharaohs and tombs,
donc au lieu de penser en termes de pharaons et de tombes,
which might be possible builders on purpose,
ce qui pourrait être quelque chose fait exprès par les constructeurs,
in order to define the pyramid,
pour définir les pyramides,
we have to have set of scientific criteria.
On devrait avoir des critères scientifiques.
Yes. Now, here we have at least 5 pyramidal structures.
Ici, on a au moins 5 structures pyramidales.
Which you name the sun, the moon,
qui sont nommées le soleil, la lune,
dragon, earth,
le dragon, la terre,
and love.
Et l'amour.
Below the valley, a huge network of underground tunnels.
En dessous de la vallée, de grandes structures, de grands tunnels souterrains.
They don't only connect all the pyramids.
Ils ne connectent pas toutes les pyramides entre elles.
But it's a huge labyrinth, a maze of tunnels.
Mais sont en soi des grands labyrinthes.
And their purpose we can discuss over the next few days.
Et le pourquoi du comment, on pourra en discuter les prochains jours.
So day one we said this will not be only scientific project.
Ici, ce n'est pas seulement un projet scientifique.
Today, most archaeologists
aujourd'hui, la plupart des archéologues
are very jealous about their project.
Sont vraiment jaloux de ce projet.
They don't allow other scientific disciplines.
Ils ne permettent pas d'autres disciplines scientifiques
to be involved.
D'être impliqués ici.
So you go to Egypt, only Egyptologists.
Donc lorsqu'on va en Égypte, on a seulement des égyptologues.
You go to Peru, China, Mexico, only archaeologists.
Au Pérou, en Chine ou en Mexico, on a seulement des archéologues.
You come here, interdisciplinary scientific project.
Ici, on a un projet scientifique interdisciplinaire.
That's one. But also we said we need to view this project.
Et aussi, on a besoin de voir ce projet
through 3 more realms, 3 more dimensions.
À travers 3 autres dimensions.
Energy,
l'énergie,
spiritualité, and healing.
Et les soins.
And through those 4 dimensions,
et à travers ces 4 dimensions,
we can try to understand
on peut essayer
the
de
purpose
comprendre
of the structure.
Le pourquoi, le but de ces structures.
There's a reason why,
il y a une raison pour laquelle,
among our researchers,
parmi les recherches
and supporters,
les soutiens,
are people with a different knowledge and skills.
Il y a des gens qui ont différentes connaissances et capacités.
There's the reason why we welcome you all today.
Il y a une raison pour laquelle nous vous accueillons aujourd'hui.
So,
donc,
when it comes to the height of the pyramid,
lorsqu'on parle de la hauteur de la pyramide,
I mentioned 220 meters.
J'avais dit 224 mètres.
Now let's look to the left side of the pyramid.
Si on regarde sur le côté gauche de la pyramide,
you look the 40 to the left.
On regarde la forêt sur la
the
gauche,
dark green color.
la couleur bleu, vert sombre.
When you come to the bottom of the forest,
Lorsqu'on regarde à la fin de la forêt,
and then from there you go to the other side,
et d'ici on va de l'autre côté jusqu'à l'autre côté,
the bottom corner with the forest also.
on a aussi un autre coin avec de la forêt.
So from that imaginary line
De cette ligne imaginaire
to the top
jusqu'au sommet,
is 220 meters.
il y a 200 mètres.
However, we can
Cependant,
see that the corner actually extends
on peut voir que le coin s'expand
all the way to the bottom of the valley.
jusque tout en bas de la vallée.
And really, eastern triangular face goes to the bottom of the valley.
Et le côté est va jusque tout en bas.
So most probably,
Donc très probablement,
the original size of the pyramid
la taille originale de la pyramide
was much bigger,
était beaucoup plus grande,
maybe over 360 meters.
peut-être autour de 360 mètres.
You can also see the access plateau
On
to
peut
the right.
aussi voir la route d'accès au plateau à droite.
It's coming from the western side.
Ça vient du côté ouest.
This is a big difference to most of the pyramids in the world.
C'est l'une des plus grandes différences avec les autres pyramides du monde.
This is not a freestanding pyramid.
Ce n'est pas une pyramide standard.
Now, we got the same case with the moon pyramid,
Donc on a la même chose avec la pyramide de la Lune.
which we cannot see from here.
On ne peut pas voir d'ici.
From the east, from the back,
À l'est, derrière,
the access plateau, the causeway, is coming to the top of the pyramid.
on a un accès sur le plateau sur cette pyramide aussi.
We got the same case with the dragon pyramid.
On a la même chose avec la pyramide du dragon.
The plateau is coming from the northern
Le plateau
side.
vient du côté nord.
So they look like a body of the pyramid,
Donc on dirait que le corps des
with the
pyramides,
pyramids like their heads,
avec des pyramides comme une tête.
and they are facing each other.
Et ils se font face. Elles se font face.
This is the oldest pyramidal complex.
C'est le complexe pyramidal le plus vieux.
Design is different.
Le design est différent.
Don't try to find the Egyptian or Mexican pyramids here.
On n'essaie pas de trouver des pyramides égyptiennes ou mexicaines ici.
They are far away.
Elles sont beaucoup plus loin.
This is different animal,
Ici, on a affaire à des animaux différents.
which we need to investigate and try to understand.
Donc on a besoin de faire des recherches et d'essayer de comprendre.
About the purpose of pyramids, we will discuss tomorrow.
Sur le sujet des pyramides et leur but, on en discutera demain.
And of course, it has to do with the energy.
Et bien sûr, ça a un rapport avec de l'énergie.
This is very complex energy machine,
C'est une machine énergétique très complexe
affecting different levels
qui nous affecte à différents niveaux
and different purposes.
et à différents buts.
Our next stop will be the underground tunnel network.
Notre prochain arrêt sera le réseau des tunnels souterrains.
In 2005,
Dans 2005,
when I wrote my first book,
lorsque j'ai écrit mon premier
I
livre,
knew only about 2 pyramids,
je connaissais des choses seulement sur 2 pyramides
which I could see by my naked eyes.
que je pouvais voir à l'œil nu.
But in that book,
Mais dans
I
ce livre,
wrote,
j'ai écrit,
we are going to discover
on va découvrir
a network of underground tunnels.
un réseau de tunnels souterrains.
Because they always come with the oldest pyramids.
Parce qu'il y a toujours des réseaux souterrains avec les plus vieilles pyramides.
Bosnian archaeologists, geologists, oh, they all attack me.
Les archéologues et les géologues bosniaques m'attaquent.
They're saying, what is he talking about?
Ils me disent, mais de quoi est-ce qu'il parle?
First pyramids, now tunnels.
D'abord des pyramides, maintenant des tunnels.
It's impossible.
C'est impossible.
Well, 9 years later, it turns out that
Et
I
bien,
was
9 ans
right.
plus tard, il s'avère qu'en fait j'avais raison.
Have those people ever
Et ces
apologized?
gens ne se sont jamais excusés.
That's not what they do.
C'est pas ce qu'ils font.
They keep attacking or boycotting you.
Ils continuent de vous attaquer ou ils vous boycottent.
So, in order to find those tunnels, I was talking to little kids.
Donc, pour trouver ces tunnels, j'ai parlé à des petits enfants.
Why children?
Pourquoi les enfants?
Because they know all the holes around.
C'est parce qu'ils connaissent toute la région.
So we were checking natural caves,
Donc, on a vérifié des grottes naturelles,
holes,
des trous.
and then we came to the entrance of today's tunnel.
Et puis, on est arrivé jusqu'à l'entrée aujourd'hui des tunnels.
It was very narrow entrance, about 60 centimeters.
Très étroit, approximativement 60 cm.
With one larger area,
Avec un endroit un peu plus large,
4 or 5 meters
de 4-5
wide
mètres
and long,
de long et de
and
large.
one very narrow tunnel,
Et un tunnel vraiment très étroit.
which was ending after
Qui
25
s'arrêtait
meters.
après 25 mètres.
People in Visoko call this a natural cave ravine.
Les gens à Visoko appelaient ça la cave naturelle, la grotte naturelle de Ravenay.
But I was looking the ceilings.
Je regardais le plafond.
It was half radius.
C'était à moitié, comment on dit, rond. Un arc de cercle.
I said, this is not natural.
Je me suis dit ça, c'est pas naturel.
So we started cleaning.
Donc on a commencé à nettoyer.
Going to the left.
À gauche.
Discovered another tunnel.
On a découvert un autre tunnel.
Going to the right, another one.
On a creusé à droite, on a découvert un autre tunnel.
Going to the left, a drive hole.
Encore à gauche, un
and
mur
another
sec.
one.
Et un autre.
Intersections.
Une intersection.
And then we realized it's a huge labyrinth.
Et on a réalisé que c'était un gros labyrinthe.
The rest you're going to see today.
Là, le reste, on verra aujourd'hui.
Are there any questions at this point?
Est-ce que vous avez des questions jusqu'à présent?
We escaped the rain, so now let's go back to the bus.
On a échappé à la pluie, donc maintenant on va retourner au bus.
Just 1 second, yes? Okay.
On la voit pas d'ici.
Now, we can go over the bridge, over there.
Maintenant, on va aller de l'autre côté du pont là-bas.
To my right.
À droite.
Another couple of 100 meters to the right.
Et encore quelques centaines de mètres à droite.
And then we climb about a couple of 100 meters.
On va monter sur quelques mètres.
So the entrance is there.
Donc l'entrée est là-bas.
We are cleaning the tunnels, and I will explain you what does that mean, cleaning the tunnels.
On nettoie les tunnels et je vous expliquerai ce que ça veut dire.
The existing tunnels.
Les tunnels existants.
That lead us towards the Sun Pyramid.
Qui vont aller jusqu'en dessous de la pyramide du Soleil.
From the tunnel entrance to the pyramid.
De l'entrée de la tunnel jusqu'à la pyramide.
2.5 kilometers.
On a 2,5 km.
So far we have cleaned.
Jusqu'à présent, on a nettoyé
1,300 existing tunnels. 1,300 meters of tunnels.
1300 mètres de tunnels.
So we've been moving towards the Sun Pyramid.
Donc on se rapproche petit à petit de la pyramide du Soleil.
When the Russian geophysicists were here,
lorsque les géophysiciens russes étaient là,
2006-2007,
en 2006-2007,
Professor Havroshky, Nancy Plakov. Professor Havroshky, Nancy Plakov.
D'accord, le professeur Havroshky.
They told us,
ils nous ont dit,
using their instruments,
en utilisant leur instrument,
that below the top of the pyramid,
que en dessous du sommet de la pyramide,
280 meters,
280 mètres en dessous,
there was a network of tunnels.
Et il y avait un réseau de tunnels.
So we are not there yet.
Donc on n'y est pas encore.
But we are coming there to connect with them.
Mais petit à petit, on y arrive pour connecter le tout.
Entrance of the tunnels,
l'entrée des tunnels,
comparing to the pyramids,
comparé à la pyramide,
is approximately 280 meters below
et
the
à peu
top.
près à 280 mètres en dessous du sommet.
And as you will see today,
et lorsque,
tunnels
comme on verra
are
aujourd'hui,
level.
les tunnels sont nivelés.
So we are hoping to connect and get under the pyramid.
Donc on sera content d'arriver à établir une connexion entre ces deux et de découvrir ce qu'il y a à l'intérieur.
All right. Any more questions?
D'autres questions?
Up in the pyramid, any chambers?
Yes, we'll discuss that tomorrow. We've been doing some screening, georadar penetration, and we got some more results, and Klaus Donner will be talking
Il
about
explique
them.
qu'il a fait énormément de recherches différentes avec des appareils technologiques assez pointus avec des physiciens, entre autres, pour scanner l'intérieur de la pyramide du Soleil.
But we suspect that there are at least 7 levels of passageways.
Mais on suppose qu'il y a 7 niveaux de tunnels différents.
And different heights.
À différentes hauteurs.
Most probably laid out as a spiral.
Donc très probablement en forme de spirale.
And we'll discuss the design tomorrow.
On discutera du design demain.
But we have not penetrated the pyramids to
Mais
the
on n'a
surface
pas
yet.
encore pénétré la pyramide du Soleil jusqu'à présent.
You will see. It's been 9 years behind us already.
Ça fait déjà 9 ans.
1,300 meters.
1300 mètres.
And all the tunnels
tous les
are
tunnels
sealed off
sont scellés.
by second civilization,
Ont été scellés par une deuxième civilisation.
which makes our job harder.
Ce qui rend notre travail plus difficile.
It takes much longer.
Ça prend beaucoup plus de temps.
But last couple of years we started finding
Mais les 2 dernières années, on a commencé à trouver
first open sections
des sections ouvertes.
without the fill-up material.
Sans le complexe, le matériel qui bouche les tunnels.
So we are hoping to get to the pyramid a little bit quicker.
Donc on espère arriver aux pyramides un petit peu
If
plus
they are
vite.
all filled with the fill-in material,
S'ils sont tous remplis avec la matière,
it will take another 15 years.
ça nous prendra encore 15 ans.
Another 15 years. Loose material, sand,
Dans
pebbles,
cette matière, on a
rocks.
du sable, des petits cailloux.
But archaeology is a slow process.
Mais l'archéologie, c'est un processus long.
No rush there.
On ne doit pas se presser.
And you will see why is it important
Et vous comprendrez pourquoi.
to go slowly.
Pourquoi c'est important d'aller
We
doucement.
can understand the construction better.
Comprendre les constructions beaucoup mieux.
For example, 7-8 years ago,
Par exemple, il y a 7-8 ans,
we were never thinking about the energy phenomenon.
on ne pensait même pas aux phénomènes énergétiques.
Only about the cleaning, which is more like
Seulement au
mining
nettoyage,
and archaeological
qui,
work.
qui ressemble un peu plus à de la mine et de l'archéologie.
But now we realize it's much more than that.
Et maintenant, on réalise que c'est beaucoup plus que ça.
We have to be ready to understand the complex.
On doit avoir l'esprit clair pour comprendre le complexe.
Anybody else?
Quelqu'un d'autre?
Yes.
Have we found some stellar emplacements of the pyramid in connection with some constellation in the sky?
Of course, in last 2.5 decades, people are talking about the connections
Les quelques dizaines d'années dernières,
between 3 Giza pyramids
on parle de connexion entre les 3 pyramides de Gizeh
and Orion Belt.
et la ceinture d'Orion.
There is a possibility that there is a connection there.
Il y a une possibilité qu'il y ait une connexion là.
2 bigger pyramids,
2 grosses pyramides,
twin stars over there,
des étoiles en haut
and one small one,
et une petite,
a white dwarf.
la naine blanche.
So, the small one in Egypt, of course, the
La
Mycelium
petite
pyramid.
en Égypte.
But as hard as you try to get exact layout
De plus en plus, lorsque vous essayez d'avoir la bonne couche
throughout the time,
au travers du temps,
2 stars, they can perfectly align,
2 étoiles peuvent être parfaitement alignées.
but the third one is always a
Et
little
la
bit off.
troisième est toujours un tout petit peu en dehors.
So in both cases, Giza
Donc
pyramids
dans les deux cas, les pyramides de
or
Gizeh,
Teotihuacan
les
pyramids,
pyramides de Teotihuacan,
it is not 100% exact layout.
ne sont pas alignés à 100%.
As a matter of fact, in another star constellation,
De ce fait, une autre constellation d'étoiles,
the Cygnus,
le Cygnus,
is a better fit than Orion Belt.
est un peu plus précise et match un peu plus que,
I said the same thing
que la
about
ceinture d'Orion.
Earth Under Fire, that one of the stars with the pyramids was off.
Yeah. Yes. So even though Robert Boal, he got worldwide recognition, but I think it was good because people started thinking, opening up to this other dimension.
D'accord. Ce genre de réflexion, c'est bien parce que ça permet aux gens de réfléchir autrement.
Called archaeoastronomy,
Ce qu'on pourrait appeler l'archéoastronomie.
which can give us also some hints,
Ce qui nous donne aussi quelques indices,
important hints.
des indices importants.
And to answer your question,
Et pour répondre à votre question,
we talk about 5 structures here,
on m'a parlé de 5 structures ici.
and most possibly we did have 7.
Et très probablement, on en a 7.
That's what we can see on the topographic maps.
C'est ce qu'on peut voir sur les cartes
But the
topographiques.
other 2 has been rather damaged,
Mais les 2 autres ont été assez abîmés,
with only 2 triangular faces preserved.
avec 2 faces triangulaires seulement qui ont été préservées.
So, if we had 7 pyramids,
Donc s'il y a 7 pyramides,
what immediately comes to our minds
ce qui vient directement dans notre esprit
are the Pleiades,
sont les Pléiades.
so important for our planet,
Très importantes pour notre planète,
for all corners on our planet.
pour tous les coins de notre planète.
Everybody's been talking about it.
Tout le monde a parlé des Pléiades.
We know that the Pleiades made a circle on the night sky
Les Pléiades font un beau
which
cercle
lasts
dans notre ciel
52 years.
depuis 52 ans.
They're coming back to the original position.
Ils reviennent à leur position initiale.
And of course, Aztecs
Et bien sûr, les Aztèques
had 52 years as the major cycle
avaient un cycle de 52
in
ans
their calendar.
dans leur calendrier.
And of course, Mayans before them,
Et bien sûr, les Mayas avant eux,
and others.
avec
But
les Alos.
at this point, it's hard to confirm,
Mais à ce point-là, c'est très compliqué de
because
confirmer.
if you go back before the flood,
Parce que si on retourne avant les inondations,
1 or 2 big flood waves
avant une des 2 premières grosses vagues
might
d'inondations,
destroy a number of smaller pyramids.
ça aurait pu détruire un certain nombre de petites pyramides.
But it's a good question that you point
Et
out.
c'est une bonne question que vous
We
avez
need
pointée.
to think about the sky also
On a besoin de penser au ciel aussi
and look for the possible signature of the architect.
et rechercher à des possibles signatures des architectes.
All right, the rain is starting, so I suggest
Ok, la
we
pluie
go to the
commence.
buses.
Was
made, produced, it's handmade to tune energetic system of people to safely work with the pyramid. So, the principle, like a hand, like this one. If you take a hand, because everything is done according to the principles. And ancient knowledge says that the human body has the same construction as the earth, and the human body is constructed exactly to the same principle as the universe. It's so called Kabbalah or Kabbalah on principle. You will know about it later. So, and if you take like a human body, for easy explanation, you know we have 7 energetic bodies. Imagine these 7 energetic bodies as the playing cards. How to call it, I don't know. Let's take just 7 transparent. So this is your body, okay? We take a first card. What we see? We see copy of blood circulation system. But this is energetic skeleton. And if our vein is carrying blood, biological liquid, with all other stuff inside, energetic channels are vibrating with a certain vibration ratio. So, until this doubling, one vibration, here another vibration, this another vibration, and so on. And this is, it gives to the blood a certain capacities, and giving a possibility to trigger the all complicated system. So, the same here, blood. This is my skin and the blood system. Actually, if you take the earth and the lithosphere, exactly the same principle. There are some kind of energy channels moving through the earth, okay, through the soil. So now try to imagine how clever that people was, that they started the way from under the pyramid, or doesn't matter, from the beginning, and then going along the energetic channel through the soil, rebuilt. And you can see clearly that there are at least 4 sides of the pyramid, northern side and eastern side, which are big sides, because this is the main mirrors. Understand what it means, mirrors, reflectors. This very important mirror is reflecting the energy and signal to the northern pole. But in general, even those part of the pyramid which is on top, smaller one, is more than enough to retransmit a signal, well, to the skies, let's say to the universe. And now let's go to the other point. People, some spiritual people who have been living here, they need to be prepared to work with such type of, let's say, pyramid and equipment, because it's on one hand, from the beginning, it's a natural pyramid. The extraterrestrial civilization thousands of years ago also gave a kind of advice, and according to ancient Egyptian texts, they made a choice of 64 special places all over the world where pyramids have been constructed. And some of the pyramids have been pure, let's say, artificial, like Egyptian pyramid. They are pure artificial. But the oldest one, they are half natural, like this one. Only sides have been cut. So, it was done by hands of people, those who lived around, those people who later then have a chance to work with this pyramid, because being on top of the pyramid, in a certain place, you can have a spiritual contact, let's say cooperate with extraterrestrial civilization. But your body, your energetical system must be prepared for this. Otherwise, few months and you get cancer. So, and here, we have one most interesting, in my opinion, example of the system which the axis of rotation have been changed. First, after this impact, the pole turned 20 degrees south and 20 degrees west. Then it needed, I'll tell you, not approximately, 1,150 years when the planet had gotten relaxation a little bit, just 50 degrees, but 15 degrees left. So the pole was dismissed, like now 15 degrees. And during my presentation I will show you all the proofs about it. So, okay. At that ancient times, and up till now, there is a very important device always hovering over the northern pole. In our understanding, it's kind of a transmitter and receiver which puts all the planets in our galaxy together. So all pyramids all over the world in any time must be oriented exactly to the northern pole, and the energetic beam which comes out of the earth looks exactly on this craft, on this device, which always hovering, also interdimensionally. And sometimes it can be seen, and I'll show you the pictures of this object hovering over the northern pole. It is also done by very good cameras. So, and it means that this is actually a technical device, a very important device for any well-developed extraterrestrial civilization, and actually for us too. Because people who have been living around, did they understand that or not, they played a certain role. Always extraterrestrial civilization, they attract people to support, sometimes to cut the heel, natural heel, so that it would be oriented exactly to the north. So from my point of view, and I'm sure that approximately 13,000 years ago, this pyramid have been
places. Oh, I feel cold. I need more cold. That's fine. When I was moving from Bosnia to US, my older brother was in Washington D.C. But they say he had the same climate like Sarajevo. Winters are cold and stuff. I said, no, I'm going south. So I picked up the biggest city in the south, Houston. It's warm and nice. I like it. And this magnet is giving the same thing. Well, anyway, Valerie, you want to say something? Come on, 3 cameras.
So, well, then I'll start from the pyramid. Actually, and according to the knowledge which I have received for the last 30 years of investigation of the pyramids all over the world, this pyramid here is the oldest one of the oldest pyramids on our planet Earth. And such types of pyramids will be found later on other planets too, because they play a very important role. They are GPS marker from the beginning. So, what's the idea of a GPS marker? It means that those extraterrestrial civilizations which are on the higher level, and my friends investigators know very clear that all ancient text says there was a time on planet Earth when we have been visited by very high developed living civilizations, and they have giving us the knowledge. They have been cooperating with us. So for them, pure technologically, they do not fly. They made a transition from one dimension to another, kind of a chronic corridor. They need to know where they will find themselves next moment. So, very important aspect is like a GPS place where you want to go. Then, you need to know the energetic pressure, because any UFO is a vehicle having many tons of weight. You make a jump through the time corridor, and then you need to know and you need to have enough energetic pressure to keep your vehicle stable in this place. Because sometimes, according to the natural, factors, they can make a mistake, like 1 or 2 kilometers away. Then, if they jump through time and space corridor and find themselves not here, the other place, it can cause the crash. So, this pyramid actually is a GPS marker inside of the pyramid. Maybe kind of a device which always transmits energy and information into space continuously, daily. But sometimes there are periods when this pyramid is working more intensive. It depends on 2 subjects. The activity of the core of the planet, like solstices or the other moments, or somebody is calling information. Like dialing computer, what is the temperature now in Houston? Okay, we're calling information. So the sensors starts to give the information. This is the most important thing. Then, this system on the planet Earth is connecting together many pyramids. And the main pyramid have been always on the northern pole. In ancient time it was Meru. So I'm sure that this pyramid have been oriented exactly on Meru. But when the last serious flood took place, and according to the ancient text, which is giving exact information, that a terrible asteroid impact took place at the end of the summer, 13,667 years ago. So it hit the planet so heavily that the planet lost an orbit, and our present calendar now is 365 days, but before it was 365 days further from the sun. Climate changed critically. But